Hi, I'm Sarah. Today, let me tell you about a story that struck a nerve with thousands of people. It's the story of Melanie, a successful 35-year-old dentist who thought she had life all figured out until her family reminded her exactly where she stood. The title? My family didn't invite me to Christmas, but sent me a $25,000 invoice for my sister's new car. So I sent them $10 each and said, "That's all you deserve." Let's dive in. My name is Melanie. I'm 35, and for the longest time, I thought I was living the dream. I had a great career as a dentist at a private clinic in downtown Chicago. I had a lovely 3-bedroom home in a quiet neighborhood, a reliable car that actually started every cold Midwestern morning, and a savings account that helped me sleep at night. I wasn't flashy. I was just stable, comfortable, and proud of it. My family lived one state over: Mom, Dad, my younger sister Brittany, and her new husband Josh. They'd only been married 6 months, and truthfully, I barely knew the guy. We weren't a close-knit clan. We saw each other on holidays, maybe a weekend or two each year if they decided to visit me. And when they came, I paid for everything: groceries, gas, restaurants, shopping trips. It never bothered me much. They didn't have much, and I did. That's what family's for, right? But the visits were always one-sided. They rarely invited me to their home. I chalked it up to being busy. I had patients, night shifts, and holiday season chaos. Still, I always made the effort. And as Christmas crept closer that year, I was more than ready for a break. I went all out, got my dad the vintage watch he'd been eyeing for over a year, picked out a high-end kitchen gadget for Mom. For Brittany, I found this beautiful necklace she'd once admired but never splurged on. And for Josh, a gift card to that sporting goods store he never stopped talking about. The total? A few $1,000s. But I didn't mind. I even cleared my schedule and took a week off. My boss, Dr. Reynolds, wasn't exactly thrilled. It was the busiest season at the clinic, but I had earned it. I booked my flight, cleaned the house, double-checked my packing list. Everything was set. Then came Tuesday afternoon. I had just finished with a patient when my receptionist poked her head in and said, "Your mom's online too." I smiled, thinking she was calling to confirm my flight or ask if I wanted green bean casserole again. The usual holiday stuff, but her tone was different, cold, detached. "Hi, Melanie," she said flatly. "I need to talk to you about Christmas." "Okay," I replied, already sensing something was off. "Do you need me to bring anything special?" There was a pause. Then she said, "Actually, it would be better if you didn't come this year." I stared at the phone. "Excuse me?" "Josh's parents and his sister are coming," she said. "And, well, they don't really get along with you. We just want a peaceful holiday. No drama." That was the moment it hit me. My own mother had uninvited me from Christmas. Not because I'd done anything wrong, but because my sister's in-laws didn't like me. People I barely knew. People who once cornered me at Brittany's engagement party and demanded free dental work, as if I was their family dentist on call. I almost laughed. Almost. Instead, I stood there in my scrubs, gifts still sitting at home perfectly wrapped, and realized they didn't care about me. They only cared about what I could give. And that's when everything began to change. I stood there in the clinic hallway, phone still in hand, as her words echoed in my head. "Don't be dramatic, Melanie. It's just Christmas. There will be other years." Then the line went dead. No apology. No hesitation. Just click. I slowly walked back to my office, feeling like I'd been sucker punched. My own mother had chosen my sister's in-laws, people who'd never lifted a finger for our family, over her own daughter. And the worst part? She didn't even sound sorry. By the time I got home that night, I was on autopilot. My shoes hit the floor by the door, and I wandered into the dining room where all the wrapped gifts sat in a neat little pile. Dad's new watch, the one he'd been admiring in that catalog for months. Mom's fancy new food processor, the elegant necklace I found for Brittany, and Josh's gift card tucked inside a handwritten note. I had spent hours picking them out, carefully wrapping each one with ribbon and love, excited to see their reactions. Now they just looked hollow, like a punchline to a joke I didn't get. I sat down at the table and stared at them, numb. It was like my whole childhood had come crashing back in a single phone call. I'd always been the one who had it together, the one who helped, who covered the checks, who gave without asking for anything back. And somehow, it still wasn't enough. And this wasn't new. It all really started at Brittany's engagement party months ago. I remember walking in, dressed in a navy blue dress, gift in hand. I'd barely had a glass of wine when Josh's mom cornered me. "Oh, you're a dentist?" she said, eyes lighting up like she'd just won the lottery. "Perfect. We all need work done. When can you fit us in?" I laughed politely at first, assuming it was a joke. "Well, I work at a private clinic, so you'd have to call and book like anyone else." Josh's dad chimed in instantly. "But you're family now. You'll take care of us, right? For free?" It wasn't a request, it was an expectation. "I'm really sorry," I said gently, "but I can't do that. The clinic has policies and I don't own it. I can give you a discount, but..." Before I could finish, Josh's sister rolled her eyes. "Wow, so you're just another greedy professional. We thought we were getting a dentist in the family." That stung. And worse, they said it in front of everyone. My sister, my parents, even Josh. Brittany looked horrified. My parents looked like they wanted to disappear. Still, I held my ground. "I'm not being greedy," I said. "I'm being fair. I can't give away services that cost my clinic real money." Josh's mom shrugged. "Whatever. We'll find someone who actually cares about family." They spent the rest of the night avoiding me, whispering among themselves, making no effort to hide their contempt. I tried to be polite, but it was like I didn't exist. Later that night, my dad pulled me aside. "Maybe you could just reconsider. It would keep the peace." "You want me to pay for dental work for people I've just met, out of my own pocket, just to avoid conflict?" "It's not that much money for you," Mom chimed in, "and it would really help Brittany." I shook my head. "Number. They're not my family. They're Brittany's problem, not mine. Brittany didn't speak to me for a week after that, until she needed help covering the honeymoon deposit. It was always like that. They wanted my money. Not my presence, not my boundaries, just my bank account. So, no, this Christmas wasn't just about a dinner I'd miss. It was a line in the sand. They'd made a choice. And as I sat at that dining room table staring at the mountain of gifts, something in me hardened. If I wasn't welcome as their daughter, then they'd no longer be welcome as my responsibility. Because, let's be honest, it was never just Christmas. I looked at the neatly wrapped presents on my dining table, once chosen with love, now sitting there like expensive little insults. Each gift was a reminder of how little I actually meant to the people I kept giving everything to. Dad's watch, Mom's kitchen gadget, Brittany's jewelry, I'd poured time, thought, and money into all of them. Now, they were mocking me. I opened my laptop and began checking return policies. Most stores were generous around the holidays. 30 days, some even 60. I could probably get back most of what I'd spent. Maybe even all of it. But as I sat there with return forms pulled up and a shipping label half printed, something shifted in me. Why was I trying to salvage a Christmas they had already ruined? Number. If my family didn't want me around, I'd give myself the Christmas I actually deserved. One filled with peace, quiet, and maybe the sound of ocean waves instead of guilt trips. So, I opened a new browser tab and typed in luxury holiday getaways for Christmas. I'd always dreamed of Hawaii, but never made time. You know how it is. You wait for the right year, the right budget, the right mood. But this year, I was done waiting for permission to enjoy my life. A few clicks later, I found it. A resort on Maui with oceanfront suites, full spa access, and a private beach. It looked like something out of a movie, the kind of place that whispered serenity the moment you saw it. I did the math. Between the thousands I'd spent on gifts, the round-trip ticket I'd already booked to visit my family, and the annual holiday expenses I'd inevitably be stuck with, this trip was actually cheaper. I booked it that night, 7 days in paradise, leaving December 24th, Christmas Eve, a fresh start, a new tradition, one that centered around me. The next morning, I returned every gift, one by one. Every refund added to the excitement, and with the extra money, I upgraded my reservation to a suite with a private balcony overlooking the Pacific. If I was going to reclaim Christmas, I was going to do it in style. In the days leading up to the trip, I focused on work. I filled my calendar with appointments, barely gave myself time to think. But in the quiet moments, I was smiling again. No passive-aggressive conversations. No freezing drives across state lines. No pretending to laugh at jokes from people who judged me behind my back. Just me, a suitcase, and a plan for peace. I bought sundresses, a new pair of sandals, even splurged on a manicure. Holiday red, of course. I treated myself to a lightweight camera to capture the trip. My first real vacation for me. No family drama, no forced cheer, no emotional landmines. But just when I thought the worst was behind me, my inbox lit up 1 week before Christmas. Subject line: Brittany's Christmas gift, payment required. I clicked, expecting a forwarded coupon or some chain letter. What I got instead, a jaw dropper. Hi, Melanie. We've decided to give Brittany a wonderful Christmas surprise. A brand new car worth $25,000. Since we don't have that kind of money and you do, we need you to cover the cost. Invoice attached. Payment due December 31st. Love, Mom. An actual dealership invoice was attached, not a suggestion, not a conversation, just a bill. Like I was some kind of ATM they could tap into whenever they ran out of ideas. I read it 3 times, not because I didn't understand it, but because I couldn't believe they had the nerve. I took a breath and responded, Mom, I'm not paying for Brittany's car. I never agreed to this, and I'm not responsible for the gifts you choose to give. Melanie. Simple. Director. And I thought that would be the end of it. But the next morning, my phone rang at 7 a.m. sharp, and before I could even say hello, she was screaming, You arrogant little brat! We counted on you! How could you do this to us? I held the phone away from my ear and took a sip of my coffee, heart rate steady. The old me might have panicked. The new me, she was just getting started. I barely had time to say hello before the yelling began. How dare you! My mother shrieked. We're counting on you to pay for this car. Do you have any idea how arrogant you're being? I didn't flinch. Maybe you should have thought about how to pay for it before you bought it. You are obligated to pay for this car, she snapped. I took a breath, my voice calm. No, I'm not. Her voice only got louder. We've already told everyone that Brittany's getting the car for Christmas. Josh's parents know. If you don't pay, they're going to be furious. It'll cause problems for Brittany. I didn't miss a beat. That's your problem, not mine. If you want to disown me over this, go ahead. Then I hung up. 15 minutes later, the text started. First, from Mom. You are a terrible daughter. Selfish, greedy. How can you do this to your own sister? Then from Dad. Your mother is right. You're being selfish. Family helps family. And then Brittany chimed in. I can't believe you're doing this to me. You're supposed to be my sister. You're a horrible person. Message after message, they just kept rolling in. Guilt, shame, insults. I was, apparently, the worst daughter, sister, human being to ever walk the earth. And all because I refused to fund a surprise car for someone who didn't even invite me to Christmas dinner. The irony didn't escape me. The same people who told me to stay away for the holidays were now melting down because their cash machine had said no. After about an hour of unrelenting rage texts, the tone suddenly shifted. Please, Melanie, we really need this. We're begging you, don't let us down. We'll pay you back somehow. I stared at the screen, letting their desperation roll off me like water on glass. I didn't reply. Not out of cruelty, but out of clarity. That evening, one final text from Mom popped up. Since you refuse to help your own family, we're disowning you. Don't contact us again. You're no longer our daughter. I set the phone down without a word. No anger, no panic, no heartbreak, just relief. If that's how they defined family, then I was better off without it. And just like that, I was free. Christmas Eve morning arrived. For the first time in years, I woke up not dreading the day. No long drive in icy weather, no fake smiles, no last-minute drama or emotional landmines. Just me, my suitcase, and a first-class ticket to Maui. The flight was smooth. I curled up with a novel I'd been meaning to read all year, sipped a glass of wine, and let the stress melt away somewhere over Arizona. No texts, no passive-aggressive calls, just peace. And when I stepped off the plane and that warm Hawaiian breeze wrapped around me like an old friend, I knew I'd made the right choice. The resort, even better than the photos. My suite had a huge balcony overlooking the ocean with sliding glass doors that let in the sound of waves all night long. I unpacked slowly, savoring the moment, hung my sundresses in the closet, set up my new camera on the dresser, and took a deep breath. This wasn't just a vacation. It was a reset. That evening, I walked down to the resort's beachfront restaurant. The hostess raised an eyebrow when I said the reservation was for one, but she smiled and led me to a table right on the edge of the deck where I could watch the sun dip into the Pacific. I ordered lobster, with champagne, the most expensive thing on the menu. And I didn't feel guilty for a second. Because for the first time in my adult life, I wasn't paying for anyone else's holiday but my own. As I finished the last buttery bite of lobster, my phone buzzed. I almost didn't look. I was on vacation. I was free. But curiosity got the best of me, and when I glanced at the screen, my jaw clenched. It was a text from Mom. Hope you remember the mortgage payment is due soon. We're expecting the usual amount. Also, we still need gifts for Christmas morning. The family is arriving soon. I blinked. Hard. These were the same people who disowned me not even a week ago. The same ones who screamed at me, called me selfish, and said I was no longer their daughter. And now, they were reminding me to pay their mortgage and send them Christmas presents? It was surreal. I'd been covering their mortgage for 3 years, ever since Dad lost his job and the bank was about to foreclose. What was supposed to be a temporary gesture of support turned into a $2,800 monthly obligation that quietly embedded itself into my routine like a second rent payment. I never questioned it. I just did it, month after month, like paying for water or electricity. But sitting there in a 5-star resort in Maui, staring out at the Pacific Ocean, something finally snapped. For the first time, I asked myself, why am I still doing this? I pulled out my phone and opened my banking app. I canceled the automatic transfer to their mortgage company. No hesitation. Then I opened my payment app and sent each of them, Mom, Dad, and Brittany, a crisp $10. Along with each transfer, I attached the same note. Merry Christmas. This is all you deserve. And with that, I turned off my phone, smiled at the waiter, and ordered dessert, A rich, warm chocolate cake with fresh berries and a scoop of vanilla bean ice cream. I ate every bite slowly, savoring the taste and the silence. That night, wrapped in a plush hotel robe, I finally turned my phone back on. Dozens of missed calls, a flood of frantic texts. Call me immediately. We have a serious problem. This is all your fault. I scrolled through the chaos while sipping hot tea and watching waves crash under the moonlight. Apparently, Josh's parents had found out the truth, that I wasn't paying for the car. And worse, the dealership had contacted my family demanding full payment before releasing the vehicle. It exploded into a Christmas Day disaster. Josh's parents were livid. They accused my parents of lying about their finances just to impress them, pretending they were generous enough to buy a car when, in fact, they expected someone else to foot the bill. They stormed out of Christmas dinner, vowing never to return for another holiday. Brittany and Josh were humiliated. They left too, caught in the mess of my parents' manipulation. What was meant to be a picture-perfect Christmas turned into a family scandal no one would forget. Mom's final message read, "Christmas is ruined, and it's all because of your selfishness. Brittany and Josh won't even speak to us. We never want to see you again." I stared at the screen, then set the phone down and stepped out onto the balcony. The moonlight shimmered across the ocean, and I breathed in the salt air, feeling lighter than I had in years. Christmas was ruined for them. But mine? Mine was just beginning. The next few days were pure bliss. I went snorkeling and saw bright yellow tangs, vivid parrotfish, and a sea turtle that swam right up to me. I got a full-body massage that made me feel like I was floating on air. I took a sunset dinner cruise and shared laughs with a couple from Canada celebrating their 25th anniversary. Every morning, I woke up naturally. No alarm, no obligations. I sipped Kona coffee on my balcony as the sun rose over the ocean, thinking, so this is what peace feels like. And I wasn't going back. Each morning in Maui, I woke up to sunlight spilling across the room and the sound of waves crashing below my balcony. No alarms, no pressure, no one asking for anything. I planned my day around one simple question. What do I want to do today? And that alone felt revolutionary. I took photos of everything. The untouched white sand beach, the fresh ahi tuna from the resort restaurant, my colorful drinks garnished with orchids by the pool. For the first time in years, I was capturing my life. Not for approval, not for appearances, but for me. I wasn't documenting a family event. I wasn't faking a smile in front of people who only called when they needed money. I was simply living. And it felt incredible. By day 3, I decided to share some of the magic. I hadn't posted much on social media lately. Life had been too heavy, but this felt different. I posted a few photos, the ocean at sunrise, my lobster dinner plated like art, and one of me lounging in a sun hat, looking more peaceful than I'd felt in a decade. My caption was simple, "Best Christmas vacation ever." Within an hour, the comments started rolling in. "You look amazing. So jealous, girl. Live it up. Good for you. That view is unreal." Friends, coworkers, even a few old college classmates, all supportive, all happy for me. Then came the comments from my mother. On the beach photo, "Must be nice to be so selfish while your family struggles." On the lobster dinner, "Some people care more about fancy food than their own parents." Under my poolside selfie, "Hope you're enjoying yourself while we can't pay our bills." I just stared at my phone. Even thousands of miles away, she couldn't help herself. She wasn't just trying to guilt-trip me. She wanted to publicly shame me, right there in front of friends and colleagues. But instead of rage, I laughed. She thought she was exposing me. But what she was really doing was exposing herself, her bitterness, her entitlement, her complete inability to accept boundaries. I didn't delete the comments. I didn't block her. I let the post stay up, untouched. Let the world see who she really was. And based on the private messages I got afterward, wow, I'm so sorry your mom did that. You don't owe anyone that kind of treatment. It was clear people understood exactly what was going on. Her behavior said more than I ever needed to. I spent the full 7 days in Hawaii, each one better than the last. I swam in turquoise water, drank coffee at sunrise, read books uninterrupted, and felt the tension slowly melt from my body. There were no expectations, no obligations, no guilt, just me and the sound of the ocean. When I finally flew back home, I wasn't the same woman who boarded the plane a week earlier. I felt stronger, lighter, free. Back at the clinic, even Dr. Reynolds noticed. "You look different," he said, refreshed. And I was. 2 months later, the peace was interrupted. My phone rang from a number I didn't recognize. Against my better judgment, I answered. "Melanie, it's Mom." I should have hung up, but part of me was curious. How far would she go? "We need to talk," she said quickly. "This whole situation has gone too far. We need to reconcile. Get the family back together." I let out a laugh. "Now, you want to reconcile? After disowning me?" She sighed. "You're being dramatic. We were all just upset during the holidays. People say things they don't mean when they're stressed." "Oh, you mean like when you couldn't pay for the car you bought behind my back?" There was a long silence. Then, "We thought you'd want to help your sister." "Family helps family," I said evenly. "Family doesn't uninvite each other from Christmas." "Family doesn't uninvite each other from Christmas, Mom. And family doesn't demand $25,000 and throw tantrums when they don't get it." There was a pause. Then, softer, she said, "We miss you. Can't we just put this behind us?" "No," I said, steady and calm. "I'm not putting up with this anymore. Don't call me again." And I hung up. I blocked the number right after. I thought maybe, just maybe, that would be the end of it. I was wrong. A few weeks later, I was at work reviewing a patient chart when my receptionist, Dana, came into my office, visibly flustered. "Doctor." "Melanie," she said, "there are 2 people in the lobby claiming to be your parents. They're demanding to see you and making quite a scene." I stood up, heart sinking but composed. When I walked to the front desk, there they were. My mother and father. Out of place in the upscale clinic, Mom talking animatedly, loud enough for the entire waiting room to hear, while Dad stood awkwardly behind her. "We drove all the way from out of state to see our daughter," she said to Dana. "You can't just keep us from her." Patients were staring. I caught Dr. Reynolds peeking out from his office, eyebrows raised in concern. I walked up, calm but firm. "You need to leave, now." "Melanie, honey," Dad said gently, "we just want to talk." "We've driven hours," Mom added. "Surely you can give your own parents 5 minutes." "I told you not to contact me," I said, my voice low but unwavering. "That includes showing up at my workplace." "Don't be ridiculous," Mom snapped, voice rising. "We're your parents." "And I'm an adult who wants nothing to do with you." I turned to Dana. "Please call security." "You don't mean that," Mom said quickly, but I could see it, panic in her eyes. "I absolutely do. You are harassing me at my place of business. Leave now or I'll call the police and have you arrested for trespassing." "Right then, Doctor." Reynolds stepped beside me. "Is there a problem here?" he asked, his tone all business. "These people are disrupting my practice," I said loudly enough for the room to hear. "They were asked to leave and refused." Dad reached for Mom's arm. "Come on," he muttered. "We should go." "This isn't over," she hissed as they headed toward the exit. "Yes, it is," I called after them. If you contact me again or show up anywhere I am, I will file a restraining order. That was 6 months ago, and I haven't heard from them since. I changed my phone number. I made sure my address wasn't listed anywhere publicly. I even instructed Dana and the entire front desk team that if anyone claiming to be my family ever appeared again, they were to call security immediately. Since then, my life has only gotten better. I work hard. I travel when I want to. And recently, I started dating someone, Connor, a trauma nurse at the downtown hospital. He's kind, grounded, and most importantly, he doesn't expect me to fix his life or carry his problems. When I told him about my family, he looked stunned. They demanded you pay for a car they bought without even asking you. I laughed. That was just the tip of the iceberg. 3 years of mortgage payments, constant loans, covering every meal, every trip, every little emergency. I was basically their personal ATM. He didn't even hesitate. You're better off without them. And he was right. I don't miss the drama. I don't miss the guilt trips or the emotional blackmail. I don't miss walking on eggshells wondering what they'd ask for next, or who they'd guilt me into saving. I finally feel what I hadn't felt in years. Free. I don't miss the pressure to solve everyone else's mess while my own needs came dead last. These days, the money I once funneled into my family's demands now lands where it belongs, my savings account or toward things that actually bring me joy. Since Hawaii, I've taken 3 more vacations and I'm planning a trip to Europe next spring. Paris, maybe Florence. Sometimes people ask if I feel guilty for cutting off my family. The truth? I don't. I feel relieved. I feel liberated. At 36, for the first time in my adult life, I'm living for me. My time is mine. My money is mine. My future is mine. I have a career I love, a peaceful home, and a relationship that's built on respect, not dependence. Connor and I are talking about moving in together next year, and I'm genuinely excited. He sees me as a partner, not a paycheck. And that's what freedom feels like. Not revenge, not resentment, just peace. And after everything I gave, I think I've finally earned it. Sometimes peace begins where obligation ends. Melanie's story isn't just about a ruined Christmas or a manipulative family. It's a wake-up call. For so many of us in midlife, we've been conditioned to give, to fix, to put everyone else's needs before our own. We silently carry the emotional and financial weight of family expectations, hoping our sacrifices will one day earn us love or respect. But as Melanie learned, true peace doesn't come from being needed. It comes from being free. The moment she chose herself over obligation, she didn't just reclaim her money, she reclaimed her voice, her boundaries, and her future. That's the deeper lesson here. It's okay to walk away from people who only show up with empty hands and full demands. Family should never come with a price tag or a guilt trip. If you've ever felt like someone's ATM, therapist, or emotional punching bag, take this as permission to step back, to breathe, to protect your peace. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do for yourself is to say no more. Melanie didn't just book a flight to Hawaii, she booked a one-way ticket out of toxic loyalty and into the life she truly deserved. And maybe it's time you did too.